a podcast that talks about music, movies, sports, and news. To know the people, promoting and sharing with the world a beautiful story. This is Frail Fragments Monster Closet. Hey, this is the Monster Closet, episode 90. Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. We are here with Isaiah-John Sison. Is that how you say your last name?
Sison.
I know him as Jay. He was at our show, our Halloween gig, the last show of the year for Frail Fragment, last Saturday, October 26th, with Birdie, the Android Meme, and Phantom High. It was a killer night. This guy recorded the whole thing. I can't wait to check out your recordings. I've just been so busy, Jay, and I'm gonna edit it up and make it all nice, and I'll link the credit to you for sure. Thank you for being our videographer that night, and I was really excited to see you. Jay for me is like a friendly face. I've met him, I think, back at York University at the AB or somewhere like that, you know, like through our drummer and our guitarist Matthias Caldez and Mike Menichev. How did we meet, actually, Jay?
I think we met in passing a number of times before we were actually introduced.
Okay.
I think we first started actually like chatting to each other either at the warehouse after a rehearsal or at Michael's birthday party a couple of years ago.
Yeah. We did play that little. We played at his girlfriend's house in her backyard. She has a fucking sick place, man. It was like, pool, jacuzzi, fucking like a huge terrace, and we just sat up and we played, and it was a fun night, right? But yeah, cool, man. Well, it was nice meeting you, and it's always nice to have kind of, you know, good energy in your life, and I feel good energy from you, you know. So I hear you. Do you play music, or what projects? I know you have are you doing a film? You got a bunch of stuff going on, right?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I'm working on a musical right now called
Nice.
Home on Native Land. And the idea isn't that your traditional musical you'd write something, cast performers, have rehearsals, and have something to present. No, it's more of a community-based thing where it's like the content of the musical, the performers being casted, and the format and structure that the musical is being shared rather than just being on a stage is completely and utterly dependent on the community that it's being done in. And so this is happening in northern BC, and I'm a co-creator of this musical, and the idea, Home on Native Land, comes from the second line of the anthem. We're planning to take it around the country and do it in different places and do different iterations of it. And what we're doing with that, we're working with local people, telling local stories, and with the goal of really empowering them. And so the idea is, if we want to make change in a community, let's bring a common ground to the forefront. And let's, after the presentation, we're hoping to get a music school running in the community that helps people with substance use have something helpful to do with their time.
Sick, man. So when did you move to BC?
This was last year in August.
So all my friends that have moved out to BC never come back. So I'm assuming BC is really, really nice. And I want to go check it out, right? So I mean, yeah, Australia is another place. People go to Australia, they never come back. So I'm assuming that place is really nice too. But my therapist is from BC, and he says that Victoria is the nicest place in the world, and he's been all over the world, like India, Africa, fucking everywhere, right? Through his experience, he likes BC the most, and something I know I'll love BC. It's like something about being able to see the ocean, the mountains, and a lake all at the same time is pretty cool, and like the forestry and the foliage and the vegetation. It's like I think there's something special to that, right? So I do want to go visit. Very expensive. What made you leave Toronto or Mississauga and go to BC?
Well, I'll tell you this much. It was definitely a spiritual journey for me, and music is a spiritual thing. I wanted to understand what I could do with my life, where my calling in this world was. Not everyone believes in having a calling. Some people believe, you forge your own path, and you know what? That's true if that's what you believe is true.
Yeah.
People are only limited by their beliefs, right? But that aside, I believe that I had a calling. I wanted to go and find it, and it was a spiritual journey. When I got there, a spiritual aspect of realizing that this was where my calling was the fact that it was completely encompassed by music. I would write maybe 3 to 5 songs a year in Toronto. When I got to BC, I wrote 17 songs in my first month.
Wow.
Yeah, so there was something special about it, and the very first song that I finished when I got there, a man comes up to me who'd had a bit to drink, shares with me his life story, and he says to me, "Will you help me quit my drinking problem?"
Yeah.
And so I told him, I'll do whatever I'm called to do. And that's sort of where I consider was the moment that it's like, okay, this is a confirmation that I am meant to be here. But that wasn't what dawned on me right when it happened. It took a lot of action. It was a very dramatic endeavor with me being there. I'll tell you this much: it involves the RCMP. It involves rumors and slander, and it involves burning a lot of bridges, professional bridges, from my networks here in Toronto. And at the end of the day, I can only say it was worth it.
So, yeah, wow. So you just picked up and left, right?
I picked up and left for a month, and that month turned into my whole life.
And where do you live in BC for all the people that are listening?
Northern BC. It's a small little town in this area called the Lakes District, which is 2.5 hours out of the nearest city, Prince George, which is also a small city. It's Prince George has a population of about 70,000.
How many people are in your little place there?
About 4,000 people.
Wow, man. So you're basically in the woods.
I'm basically in the woods, but it's surprising just how well equipped this town is. Like, everything is within walking distance and not too far from the main drag because it's on the highway. And there's a mall, there's a hotel, there's a hospital, there's a lake and a large sports multiplex. It's got everything that you need, and what's great is that it doesn't have more than that.
That's cool. And yeah, I mean, everybody, has to be more like a sense of community there, right? And do you have extreme weather there as well? Like, is there extreme cold, extreme hot?
Apparently, my one winter there wasn't real winter, according to the locals.
Why?
Normally it gets down to -40, and we'd see like 4 feet of snow. I've been during the -40. But that only lasted a week. I think people usually expect it to last long.
You know what? It's like global warming. It's global warming, bruh. Look at it outside. It's Tuesday, November 5th today. It's fucking 30 degrees outside?
It's pretty warm.
Like, where the polar bears are gonna turn into brown bears. I mean, we're just, we're fracking oil, the blood of the earth, out of the earth, and we're taking, and then we're using that to pollute. And we're throwing our garbages in the fucking waters, and we're burning ozone layers and fucking just all of that. Factory farming, not enough trees. It's all it's all affecting this whole thing, and we're going to evolve because of it, right? So there might not be polar bears. Sorry, what were you saying, dude? I don't blame you for moving out to the fucking middle of nowhere, dude. It's scary out here, bruh. What?
You have to be able to reconnect with a huge part of native land is understanding the land aspect. How much of what we do makes up what we call gives us that feeling of home. And when you go to a place that's out in nature and not freaking concrete everywhere, you see not even like large scale climate change. You see things that have happened in the local history. So the opening number that I initially wrote to the musical is called Get On Down. And it describes my journey. Get on down to where the concrete jungle ends, where the yards turn into farms, where the fields become the trees, where the rivers come from creeks. This is all beautiful stuff. It's, you know, real organic landscapes in Canada. And then it takes a change in tone. Get on down to the way where the fire catches trees, forest fires, which happen a lot in this area, and even more in recent years, where the beetles eat the pine. In early 1990s, the mountain pine beetle, which is native to the provincial park near where I live, it almost decimated the entire logging industry.
I've heard something about that.
They started logging a bit too close to the provincial park, and so the mountain pine beetle swept across the country. And all of a sudden you have wood that dies way too quickly because it's infected with this fungus that the mountain pine beetle carries.
Yeah.
The dams all flood with tears. There's a dam, and 70 years ago, and even as recently as 2018, they realized that when they elevated the waters in the mid-1900s, due to the damming, it disturbed the ancient burial grounds of the natives that were 5,000 years old, and so you'd have floating bones and, you know, haunted stories that are actually, you know, real experiences that people have in this place.
Wow.
If that ain't
What's the name of this project you're working on? I'm sorry. What's the name of the project again that you're
Home on Native Land.
Home on Native Land. This guy's interesting. Like, this guy's pulling up some fucking crazy stories, some factual stuff. You get into it. When is this thing going to be done? Like, when is this musical finished, or are you still in the process of getting things going?
So, not every song that we're writing is going to be used in every iteration.
Yeah.
Because it's specific to each community. The first community that we're doing this in is Burns Lake.
Yeah.
We did our preview of the musical in a set at the Fall Fair this past September.
Sick. How did it go?
It was great. It was well received. It was challenging, which is the goal, and it was original music, which they don't usually get.
Are you playing live music? Are you playing live music, or is it pre-recorded?
No, it's all live. It's all personal.
Are you playing instrumentation during this musical?
We're gonna be rehearsing it. It's gonna be full band arrangements, maybe even involve a choir. But the first full iteration of it is going to happen in the late spring of next year.
Are you planning on playing like guitar for this, or keyboards, or what are you doing?
We'll see. That's the best answer I can give.
All right. Well, I'm excited, and when you do have this show, please come back on the Monster Closet and let us know. Let us know about it, and we'd love to keep in contact with you. And thank you, Isaiah, for putting yourself out there too. Right? Like, I mean, you're an important light that Canada appreciates. And thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for being on the Monster Closet. I hope you had a great time at the Halloween gig. Thank you for what did you think of the Halloween gig, dude? Did we sound good or what? Just to toot my own horn a bit. Like, what did you think? What's your review? Who do we sound like? What like, is there anything that you liked? Is there anything that you didn't like?
Okay. So I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't go out and experience that kind of music very often, and I really dig the energy.
Thanks.
I was bobbing my head, and that's the kind of music that at music festivals I'd actually. It's a different environment when you're outdoors.
Yeah.
But I was indoors, so I like really thrash around. But,
right.
Well, you had some originals in there, didn't you?
Yeah, they're all originals, bro.
They're all originals.
All original tunes, yeah.
A one talented dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we got like 70 songs now. So those were our heaviest songs that we can play live. We did that night. So we just wanted to fucking be aggressive that night. We have acoustic sets too, dude. Like folk shit and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So I want to be able to change gears, in relation to the gig and the show and everything like that. So it's important to us. And like last night we jammed, and we're jamming, we're doing stems, right? So when we start back up playing shows in March, late March, early April, we're going to be playing with stems, like pre-recorded shit with our live sound. So it's going to just bring us that much more professional sounding, right? So it's just nice to ask, because I don't really ask people like what they think, and you're actually like, you know, you just came from BC, like you're here, I guess, visiting your family, and you know, you randomly came to a show. You've never seen a Frail Fragment show. So I just kind of wanted to, you know, dip into what you thought, right? But, you know, again, thanks again for coming and recording it, man. FrailFragment.com.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, go on.
It was incredibly... what I really loved about it, and this is a thought that I had during the show, is that, like, it was incredibly dynamic. And first of all, it's like, I'm not used to going to a loud show in a small venue and expecting to hear the lyrics clearly. So
oh wow,
that tells me something good. And not only that, it's like I didn't know just how dynamic you are with your voice and how many different, how versatile you are, and that was a great example.
Thanks, Jay. So yeah, we're looking forward to having you back. Sorry, the app is reconnecting. We're getting all faulty here, but good time to log off. We like to keep it around 20 minutes, folks. But follow Jay, Isaiah. I know him as Isaiah-John. And yeah, just keep in contact. We're gonna put all his info up. You can find him somewhere. Do you have a website or anything like that, or a Twitter handle or Instagram you want to let us know about?
That is the third time in 2 days that I've been asked that.
It's a popular guy. He's a popular guy. You know what I mean?
The answer is it's coming, and when it's there, you'll be one of the first to know.
All right, cool, man. Thank you for coming out of the wilderness and talking to us for fucking episode 90. And he even dressed up. You know what I mean? I appreciate the dress shirt, bro. That's fucking sick, dude. We're gonna see you. Are you gonna be around for Christmas, dude, or what?
Happy holidays.
I've been asked that a lot lately too. No, I'm not.
No? Okay, well, when you come back, bro, like, I know our paths will collide, and I know you're coming back on the Monster Closet. This is this is Frail Fragments,
Episode
Monster
90.
Closet, episode 90, Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. Thank you so much, Isaiah. Peace.
Peace.